Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Location Rebel case study. I say it every single time, but these are some of my favorite things we do here on Location Rebel and the channel, where we share stories of actual people that joined our course, joined our community, and that have had a little bit of success with it. So today, I'm really excited to introduce you to Marc Sheforgen, who joined, back in May, June, something like that?
I think June. Yeah.
So you've been a member for about 6 months, and you've had a lot of success as you've gotten going with your bridge business, as you've gotten going with freelance writing. So I'm excited to chat with you more, hear about your experience, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for people that aren't familiar with who you are, maybe give me your quick background. What drew you to Location Rebel, and kind of where you were at before you joined, and what made you say, you know what, I want to make a change. I want to start something online.
Sure. Well, I actually got a journalism degree and did work for a brief while as a newspaper reporter back when that was a viable career. And I only did that for about a year and a half before I ended up, as fate would have it, just transitioning, and moving in a different direction with my career. Initially, still doing some communications work, and then eventually kind of moving into operations management in a music related business. But I always kind of still continue to draw on writing as a strength of mine,
Yep.
and identified that as something that, if I was ever to do something different or ever to try to do something for myself,
Yeah.
that likely would be a natural place for me to tap into. But I never understood what potential existed. I mean, really, unless I was going to go back and be a newspaper reporter, I never really knew there was much other option for me,
Totally.
unless I, try to bang out a book or something like that, which, too daunting. So, anyways, I've been working for about 20 years in the music business, and do have a pretty good job. Still have a full-time job right now. And in many ways, it's been a dream opportunity for me, but my my success or my happiness is limited because I've never really been able to work for myself or to
Got
define
it.
my own agenda in life, and so I came across Location Rebel, just searching out ideas on the internet specific or related to writing. Was unfamiliar with Location Rebel. I don't remember exactly how I initially came across it,
Yep.
but I'm very happy that I did. Did a fair amount of research, watched a lot of your YouTube videos, and so much of what you were saying, so much of what you were passionate about really resonated with me. And a lot of what you were prescribing seemed like things that I could do. And so that was inspiring to me, enough so that I ended up deciding to join Location Rebel.
Was there
And
a
away I went.
catalyst that, like, in your life where you basically said, okay, I've been working in this job for 20 years. I've got a writing background. I enjoy the job and I enjoy the work. What made you say, now's the time I need to do something for myself?
I think actually it was believe it or not, the quarantine period, the shutdown in our local area,
Yeah.
kind of inspired it actually. Not because I mean, I was still working very hard at my job, working remotely, but the idea of working in my living room or my dining room and hanging out with my kids and my wife and my dog as I did it, and just having a little bit more flexibility on the simple things like what time of day I wanted to shower, when I wanted to stumble into the kitchen to get something to eat. I enjoyed that. That was that kind of planted the kernel in my mind about
You're like,
what would
oh,
it
I
be
should be
like.
able to do this whenever I want. I want to make this
Exactly,
not just a quarantine thing, kind of a forever thing.
exactly. Yes.
So,
You're not
no, go ahead.
not saying that I wanted to always be in quarantine. I still want to have a social life, and
Right.
I still wanted to, still want to meet with people professionally. But yeah, just a lot more ownership of my work time is what it felt like to me, and I liked that.
Totally.
Yeah.
So you joined about 6 months ago. You decided to join the academy. You jump in. What were those, first few days, those first few weeks like? What was the experience, and did you have any light bulb moments or anything that made you say, "Oh yeah, this could potentially work"?
Yeah. Initially for me, it was a lot of research, probably like analysis kind of trap. I was I think even in one of the blueprints or somewhere among the YouTube videos or whatever, there's some talk of, listen, you've got to take action. You actually, you can sit here and research forever, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's an endless road, and you almost get kind of information overload when you do that. And I certainly did do that.
Yeah.
So I spent, after I joined Location Rebel, I spent the first month or 6 weeks just watching videos, reading, researching, almost doing all of the things that did not actually lead to
That didn't
me, in
actually
fact.
take action.
Right, right. And so I think the light bulb moment was, in fact, and I don't remember specifically where it was, but there was somewhere either in writing or in video that really said, listen, you've got to take action of some kind. Stop worrying about it being the perfect first step or some specific exact action that you have to nail, and just do something. And so in my case, that was starting a website. So I got busy with building the website, got busy with putting together a portfolio. And then the next step was to start to crank out some letters of introduction. And the jobs started coming much quicker than I ever thought was possible. I mean, it just kind of blew me away.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So I love that you said that the first action step you took was creating the website, because I feel
Mhm.
like, something that's really overrated or underrated is the fact that you can create this training ground for yourself where you're kind of learning all the skills you need to be successful online. You're honing your writing skills, your copywriting skills, and you're giving people a place to come and find you. And so often people say, okay, I'm going to start freelance writing and I'm going to just hop on Upwork and I'm going to apply for jobs. And,
Mhm.
for those of you who don't know, that doesn't work. That's not the right way to
Right,
approach it. And
right.
you just hit the nail on the head where you said, I'm going to create a site so people can like do their due diligence, check me out, see my, portfolio pieces, and then start sending letters of introduction. So tell me about that process. How did you go about
Yeah.
finding people to reach out to? And it sounds like the response might have been better than you expected it to be.
Yeah, certainly it was. And again, for me, it was all about just following the blueprints to the letter. I mean, that's been my resource solely. And so in the blueprint, the content writing blueprint, it prescribes start a website, build a portfolio, and then start letters of introduction. And I took the idea of simply Googling marketing agencies in my area.
Yep.
I built a list of agencies that I decided that I wanted to target. And then I started to spend a little bit of time on each of their websites, enough so that I could personalize that letter of introduction. I followed the advice in the blueprint of keeping it concise, not making it overly about myself or trying to, but really getting right down to the point of what benefit I can provide to this agency or to this company.
Absolutely.
Give them the link to my website, hit them with something personal that made it obvious to them that I had spent time on their site, that I understood at least some of what their business model was, and then plugged in a specific idea for how I could fit into that model and add value. And so I sent out a batch initially of 10, and I was prepared. I was very prepared to slog through. I thought, man, I might have to send out 100 of these, and who knows what will
So you can get a
happen. But
response. Yeah.
I'm willing to send out 100, and then if I go over, well, then maybe I'm going to be a little bit nervous or think, that
We need to
maybe this
readjust
isn't.
strategy a little bit.
Yeah, but as it turned out, I sent out 10 and I got 3 responses. One of them was hey, got your letter. Thanks for sending it. Not hiring right now, but keep you in mind. Of course, they responded, hey, cool. Good to, keep me in mind, whatever.
Yep.
2 of them led to jobs. So right off the bat, I was working, which blew me away. So then I tried again, following the blueprint. I tried to stay on the mantra of always be marketing. So I kept sending out the LOIs even as I was now starting to work.
Yep.
And then more jobs were coming in on top of the ones that I had. And so I very quickly, in a good way, became somewhat overwhelmed because, of course, I'm still working a full-time job and
Right.
I'm a father. Um, and all of a sudden, I had as much work as I could handle as a side hustle. And that's when it really became apparent to me that, wow, this is in fact entirely viable. In fact, I looked and said, hey, I'm already doing this, and this looks to be scalable. If I could start to see that if I send out more of these letters of introduction, I can almost guarantee that more work is going to come in, and I could scale this to whatever I want it to be potentially. Yeah. I mean, there's only so much time available, but
well, and that's the good news. And this is what some of our, successful members have done is you start, if you've kind of cracked the formula for reaching out to people and getting jobs, then you start hiring other writers to do the work and you take a cut of that and you've got your own kind of mini writing agency. And we've had people that have had, $250,000, $500,000 a year businesses just because, they now have 6 writers for them and they've hired family members and, it's kind of, at that point, it kind of gets to be whatever you want it to be. And, we really hammer home the idea in Location Rebel that this is a bridge business. So for some people, freelance writing, that might be their full-time career and that's what they want it to be. But for a lot of others, you're in a place where you want to make a change, you want something different, you want a little bit more, freedom. But freelance writing is the fastest way and the easiest way I know of to start building that income for yourself. And then once you've got that, then you can start saying, okay, I can pay my bills. Now, how do we, start applying this to something else that I'm a little bit more passionate about? So you said that, you're getting ready to, start working on your own blog and your own niche site, kind of because of the freedom and the flexibility that this, writing has, provided for you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm pursuing something golf related, just like you have. It'll be a blog that I hope to monetize. Again, following all of what's kind of laid out in Location Rebel. My kind of future direction is still somewhat undefined. I'm still very much finding my way. At the moment, the freelance thing seems to be what I want to really chop wood at, and then the blog as time permits. But just seems like there's a lot of opportunities. So.
Yeah. And so would you say that, joining Location Rebel, has been, what you had hoped it would be? And do you think it's helped influence, some of the success you've had so far with the writing?
Oh yeah, no, it's been the entire reason for my success. There's no question about that. I have no trouble saying that. I would not have found this path, or at least it would have taken me quite a while to find this path had I not come across Location Rebel. No question about it.
Yeah. So for the person who's sitting here, they're watching this, they're like, I'm a decent writer. I'm thinking about doing this. They're thinking about investing in Location Rebel Academy, maybe on the fence. They're maybe like, is this a scam? Is this a real person? Is this actually possible? Based on your experience, what advice would you give to that person?
Sure. I would say, well, first of all, it is a real thing. Obviously, I'm proof of that. If you choose to believe that, I would encourage somebody that may doubt that to potentially send you an email or check out. In fact, try to validate it in whatever way they think is important to them.
Right.
But yeah, for somebody, I guess what I would say is that if you feel like at least for the freelance writing side of things, if you feel as you've got some acumen for writing, because I do think it might be a mistake if somebody, you don't have to be a tremendous writer. I don't consider myself a tremendous writer. You don't have to be perfect.
Right.
I do think that's important that you don't just think of it as this is not a get rich quick scheme, and in order for you to find work and repeatable work, you're going to have to demonstrate some ability. So if you feel as if you have some writing skill, then what Location Rebel gave me, and I think would give others, is all of the resources that you need in one central location. So
Yep.
it's likely that you could find all of this information for yourself eventually, but the amount of time that you would take, the amount of doubt that you would have, and the lack of a sounding board that would not be available to you would likely make it not worth the while. I mean, you'd be much better off with the minimal investment and just and having a turnkey solution. So.
Well, and I think you hit the nail on the head. That's a question I get a lot is like, well, can I find all this information for free? It's like, I kind of tell people I try and give 80% of my best information away for free on the blog, on the YouTube channel. But really what you're paying for is you're paying for the community, you're paying for the support of Liz and I and that community, and you're paying for the step-by-step process where it's all right there in front of you. You're not having to bounce around from different videos. You're not having to listen to contradicting information from different YouTubers or different writers. It's, A to Z. And I love when earlier when you laid out, you told me to do this, and the blueprint said this, and the blueprint said this, and I did it all, and it worked. I can't wait to tell Liz that. She's going to be so excited because that's like the people that are successful are the ones that go through and they follow the course as is. And the people that fail are the ones that are like, oh, I'm going to try and do this my way. Or, oh, I don't want to do this. This doesn't sound like fun. But
you've got to follow it. Look, it's all right there for you. If you follow it and you have a little bit of skill, you're gonna have some success. I can almost guarantee that. But you do have to follow through. You do have to do the work. And that's an important point. I think, maybe, I don't know, but maybe people may sign up and they just want something to happen for them.
Yeah.
You still have to go make it happen. But it's not that hard. It really isn't.
Yeah. Well, and one other. No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Sean. I just wanted to say, you mentioned Liz. I just got to give a shout out to Liz. She's been killer resource. Really, really a great person to have aboard.
Liz is unbelievable, and I feel incredibly lucky that she still hasn't left me and gone off to do something else. Yeah. She's the heart and soul of our community. But one other thing I wanted to ask you about before we left is you've been part of the community. Have you been able to actually get any work just because you were a member of the community? Have you gotten any jobs from inside the forums or anything like that?
Yeah, I have. So I got direct. Let's see. Initially, relatively early in the game, I had been engaging with Liz to ask her questions about follow up with clients or how best to shoot them a price and that sort of thing. And that relationship led to her recommending me for a job that I got, and so I got a few blog posts off of that. And then, relatively recently, you listed on the job board or in the newsletter, I think in the weekly newsletter, a job posting. And now I've got, starting in mid-January, they want to throw me potentially 100 blog posts over the course of a few months, which is actually somewhat daunting, but very exciting.
Well, that's awesome to hear. And it's like, to someone who's sitting here watching this, as you're thinking about joining, if you do decide to join, the best advice I can give you, and Mark's living proof of this, get involved, take action. Be the person that's asking questions and that's taking advantage of the resources, because when we're thinking about, I get asked all the time, hey Sean, I'm looking for a writer. Hey Sean, I'm looking for a writer. Who do you recommend? It's the person that shows initiative and shows they're willing to take action and follow the process. Those are the people that both Liz and I are like, oh yeah, you've got to hire this person. So there's a lot of opportunity there if you're willing to take advantage of it. Mark, what's as we finish up here, what's your website if people are looking for a freelance writer, if they want to ask you questions about your experience in the course or anything? Is there a way people can get a hold of you?
Certainly. So my website is The Word Chef, TheWordChef.com. And my email is marc@thewordchef.com. I would be happy to answer any questions, share more about my experience. I'm certainly a dedicated rebel now. So,
well, I can't tell you how much I appreciate doing this and appreciate your experience within the group. So thank you so much, and excited to talk more soon and to see how those 100 blog posts turn out.
Awesome, Sean. Thanks so much, man.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.